In 1901, divers hauled a corroded lump of bronze up from an ancient shipwreck at the bottom of the Mediterranean. It sat, ignored, for years, because no one could accept what it seemed to be. A machine, over 2,000 years old, that could predict the movements of the heavens. It began with sponge divers, driven by a storm to shelter near a tiny Greek island called Antikythera. Diving in the deep water, they found not sponges but a wreck, a Roman-era cargo ship that had sunk around 2,000 years before, its hold full of treasure. The recovery came at a terrible cost. Working at such depths in heavy diving suits, the sponge divers were struck by the crippling sickness of the deep. One of them died. Others were left paralyzed. They were risking their lives for the treasure and had no idea that the strangest prize of all lay ignored among the broken rubble they hauled up. They brought up wonders, bronze and marble statues, coins, jewelry, glassware, the luxury cargo of the ancient world. And among it all, easy to overlook, a shoebox-sized lump of rock and corroded metal. It was set aside with the rubble. Its secret would wait decades to be understood. As the lump dried, it split apart, and inside, where there should only have been stone, something impossible glinted. Gear wheels, fine bronze teeth, cut with precision, interlocking cogs of a kind that history said should not exist for well over 1,000 more years. For much of the 20th century, the object was simply too strange to explain. Some assumed it must be more modern, dropped onto the wreck by accident. Surely the ancient world could not have built something so complex. It sat in a museum, a puzzle no one could solve. The breakthrough came from seeing inside. First with X-rays and later with powerful three-dimensional scanning, researchers looked through the corrosion into the heart of the machine. And there they counted them. Dozens of interlocking gears, layered together with astonishing care. In our own century, an international team brought a massive, purpose-built scanner to the corroded fragments. Layer by layer, they saw through 2,000 years of decay and found inscriptions hidden inside the metal, a tiny instruction manual etched onto the device itself. Piece by piece, the machine began to explain what it was, and slowly the purpose emerged. This was a model of the cosmos, a device that recreated in bronze the motions of the sun, the moon, and the planets, as the ancient Greeks understood them. It was, in the most literal sense, a hand-cranked computer for the sky. On its front, a pointer tracked the sun through the year. Another followed the moon, and a clever little ball, half black and half silver, even showed its changing phase. Behind the face, spiral dials counted out the months and the years, the whole sky captured in metal. Around its face ran a ring marked with the signs of the zodiac and the days of the year. As the pointers crept forward, a person could read the position of the sun among the stars and know exactly where they stood in the great turning cycle of the heavens. It was a calendar, a star map, and a calculator, all in a single hand-held machine. But it did more than show the present sky. It predicted the future. Turn the handle, and the mechanism could tell you when eclipses of the sun and moon would come, years in advance. It even tracked the 4-year cycle that governed the ancient games, including the Olympics. The engineering behind this is staggering. To model the moon's uneven motion across the sky, its makers built a system of gears that subtly sped up and slowed down the moon's pointer, mimicking the real rhythm of the heavens. This was not a toy. It was precision instrument making 2,000 years ago. So who made it? We do not know a name for certain. The craftsmanship points to a skilled Greek workshop, perhaps on the island of Rhodes, a center of astronomy in that age. Some connect it to the tradition of the great thinker Archimedes, whose reputation for building models of the heavens survived for centuries. And then the truly haunting part. This knowledge was lost. The ship sank, and nothing of comparable complexity appears anywhere in the record for well over 1,000 years. The chain of skill that built it was broken, and the world simply forgot how to make such a thing. Not until the great astronomical clocks of medieval Europe and the intricate devices of the medieval Islamic world does humanity build gearwork to rival it again. For over a millennium, the skill that sank off Antikythera lay at the bottom of the sea, waiting. The Antikythera mechanism forces an uncomfortable question. If a device this advanced could be built and then completely lost, what else did the ancient world know that we have never recovered? How much human brilliance simply vanished, sunk with a ship, or burned in a library and never came back? A computer of bronze and genius built by hand 2,000 years ago, dismissed as impossible and pulled from the sea by pure chance. It is the oldest known device of its kind on Earth, and it should not exist, but it does. Now you know it was there, all along, waiting at the bottom of the sea.